world of pro wrestling, man, is a strange beast. It really is. When you think it can't get any more just unbelievable, this story comes out late last night on Thursday night. Anything can happen in the world of pro wrestling. Never say never. Kazuchika Okada is officially leaving New Japan Pro Wrestling, according to the company and Okada himself. New Japan put out a statement, and Okada is gone after his commitments to the company in February. New Japan announced today that the legendary performer was finishing up with New Japan Pro Wrestling on January 31 when his contract is up. It will end a historic run that includes 7 world championships. He's actually still the never open weight 6-man tag team champion, along with Ishii and Hiroshi Tanahashi. New Japan sources had heard very recently that Okada and New Japan officials had a meeting to discuss their future together, and by the end of the conversation, it was clear that Okada was set to finish up. The announcement still surprised several that Fightful spoke to, as they expected this next week. However, we're told that the departure is an amicable one and that the forbidden door, will likely always remain open for someone like Okada, and there doesn't appear to be any ill will. I want to stop there. I know New Japan just announced Hiroshi Tanahashi as the new president of New Japan Pro Wrestling, and I do believe that Okada, under the old administration, had problems with the old president, and he was already contemplating leaving just because of the rocky relationship that he and the company had with the former president in charge. Now, there is another reason why Okada is set to leave New Japan Pro Wrestling. It has nothing to do with the presidency now, as Hiroshi Tanahashi and Okada, I'm sure, have a very good relationship. So there is other reasons why Okada now is set to leave New Japan Pro Wrestling, but that was definitely something that was weighing on his mind. New Japan sources that Fightful spoke to said that they knew that this was a reality that they would be facing and were confident in their ability to cultivate and create new talent, both in Japan and in the United States. Cultivate talent. You're not going to get another Okada. You're not going to manufacture another Okada overnight. This is something that is going to take years and years and years of resources to go out there and duplicate. I'm not saying that Okada will never wrestle for New Japan again. I'm not saying that they're losing him completely, but to find another like what he represented the company, you only get maybe 1, maybe 2 in a lifetime. WWE was fortunate enough to have Hulk Hogan. They were fortunate enough to have Stone Cold Steve Austin and The Rock at the same time. And WWE was fortunate enough to have John Cena. Now, nobody has ever been able to duplicate what those men have been able to duplicate for the WWE, and I'm going to include Roman Reigns in that. WWE has not found the face, the top of the top, the number one guy. They have not found anybody since John Cena. And Roman Reigns, no matter how great he is, no matter how many accolades he wants to rack up, WWE, what they have in Roman Reigns is not what they had in John Cena. It's just not. It's not the same thing. To me, anyway. Maybe it is to you, but it's not. John Cena is still the GOAT. John Cena, as far as I'm concerned, WWE never found a replacement for what he did for that company. Now, earlier this month, AEW had been very hopeful that they'd land Okada, and the ideas have already been tossed around about him coming in. But based on what Fightful heard, it's far too early to determine where he actually will land. WWE sources that we spoke to had not heard of any talks involving the two sides, but expected that they will at least explore bringing Okada in. The last we heard from the WWE end of things was that they weren't sure he would want to make the move over. Okada has also mended fences with TNA this past weekend, and we're told that the experience appeared to be a positive one by many in the company. We're told that while AEW is definitely interested, things are far too early to tell. Well, maybe we should ask Tony Khan that, because Tony Khan was on social media last night already cryptically tweeting that he's already landed Okada. And the tweets, they came, periodically one after the other. Tony Khan around dinner time last night tweeted, "It's going to be a great year for AEW." Then we get the news of Okada officially putting out a statement that he's leaving New Japan. And then Tony Khan put out a cryptic tweet implying that he's already gotten and landed Okada. I don't know, man. I don't know. It's going to be a crazy year. It's going to be a crazy year. I don't know what's going on. I don't know where he's going to land. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But Tony Khan, don't put anything past him, man. He's not going to let this one get away. He's not going to allow Okada to go to WWE. Now, we're told that while AEW and WWE are definitely interested, things are far too early to tell right now. For those asking, Okada would not be able to work the Royal Rumble, says Fightful, unless he gained permission from New Japan Pro Wrestling. Now, Brian Alvarez and the Wrestling Observer talked about this last night, and Alvarez discussed Okada's departure from New Japan Pro Wrestling. He says this, and I quote, "He'd been thinking about leaving once, and then there was a meeting with New Japan, and he wasn't thinking about leaving anymore. And it wasn't because he was offered a lot of money. I don't know exactly what he was making, but people today were like, he is the most underpaid, greatest wrestler of all time. So whatever he was making, if you compare it to what the top stars are making in America today, he's grossly underpaid in New Japan. He's done a lot of shows in AEW, and don't think he doesn't know what they are making over there. They're making a lot of money." Alvarez then brought up how Okada's wife, which was the narrative of everybody who talked about this. Oh, Okada's not going to leave New Japan. He's not going to wrestle in America full time. Him and his wife just had a newborn baby child. Then his wife is a famous actress in Japan. They're not just going to completely uproot their life and move to America. Alvarez brought up how Okada's wife is a famous actress, but pointed out that she only does voiceover work, so she could do that anywhere and doesn't need to live in Japan. Now, Tony Khan did a tweet today, Alvarez says, and he talked about how it's going to be an amazing 2024. And it's certainly believed that AEW is the front runner to land Okada, that he will likely end up in AEW. But I can tell you, he's going to be negotiating with many different people. So I would not say it's a lock that he's going to AEW. I would say it's very likely he's going to AEW, but it's not like WWE ain't throwing a lot of money around, and it's not like WWE ain't got interest in Okada. Trust me, they have interest to the point that you think Shinsuke Nakamura kept saying he was going to bring chaos to WWE. Things like that are not a coincidence. It's like when he did that GTS for a few weeks. That was right around the time WWE were negotiating with CM Punk. Then everything with Punk fell through, and he stopped doing the GTS. Then negotiations started up, and CM Punk returned at Survivor Series. It's no coincidence that Nakamura has talked about chaos, and there is a chance that he, Okada, would end up in WWE, but it seems very likely that he's going to AEW. That's a big story. Let me tell you. End quote. Okada has main evented 8 Wrestle Kingdom events, won 4 G1 Climax tournaments, and like Fightful said, that includes 7 World Championship title runs in New Japan Pro Wrestling. A lot of people got this one wrong. A lot of people got this one wrong, and for good reason. For good reason. It's not that you're wrong. You made a very astute and logical, knowledgeable, honest opinion about it. Okada's not leaving New Japan just based off the loyalty that he has to Bushiroad and to New Japan Pro Wrestling. But at the end of the day, this falls into the category of what else is left for that man to do in New Japan Pro Wrestling. I'm not familiar with Okada's entire catalog. I'm not familiar with Okada's entire career. Have I watched several Okada matches? Yes, absolutely. Do I know how great Okada is? Yes. Do I know what he means to New Japan Pro Wrestling? Yes, I do. A lot of people got it wrong for good reason. He's loyal. But at the end of the day, it all comes down to two things. Jim Ross said it so many years ago. It comes down to two things when you're talking about anybody in this profession. It's cash and creative. This time, it's cash. Okada knows he has a lifetime spot at the top in New Japan if he wants it. But at some point, the creative, no matter how important it is, and no matter how you are afforded that creative, sometimes it just gets boring. Sometimes you just want to go out there and accomplish more. Sometimes you want to go apply yourself and do more. He's a legend. He's probably the greatest Japanese wrestler that will ever live. But you want to go to America and prove yourself over there and prove that what you did in Japan can apply here in the United States and show how great you are here and accomplish that same amount as long as you can continue to do it here. Why not do that and then get paid at the same time? Cash is important. Money is important. He wants to be paid. He should be paid. The amount of work that he's done, the amount of time he's put into building New Japan, the amount of time he's put into breaking his body down for us and for them, he should be paid whatever the fuck he wants. But at the end of the day, it's going to come down to, yeah, I'm going to get that, but I also want to take care of myself on the back end, and I want more. Okada looks like the type of guy that isn't going to just go anywhere for the sake of going anywhere. Okada feels like the type of guy that is going to go somewhere and want it to be meaningful, memorable, fulfilling. He's going to go where he can do what he did in Japan and continue that train. Where is he going? I don't know where he's going. I don't want to tell you he's going to end up with Tony Khan. I don't want to sit here and tell you he's going to end up with Triple H. But I will be upfront and honest with you guys like I always am. It's easy for us to say, yeah, he's going to go to AEW and go sign with Tony Khan. It's easy. Tony Khan's going to give him the schedule. Tony Khan's going to pay him. Tony Khan's going to give him whatever he wants. Tony Khan's going to afford him to continue working New Japan Pro Wrestling under the AEW banner. So it's almost as if Okada isn't really leaving New Japan Pro Wrestling. He's just saying, goodbye for now, guys. I'll see you back in a couple of months. Going on a little vacation. I want to sit here and tell you that Tony Khan's got him in the bag. But I would also be lying to you if I told you I did not want to see him going to WWE. I want to see him go to WWE. I want to see him in WWE. I want to see what Triple H would do with someone that has been off limits. It was a fucking cardinal sin to bring in or even think about bringing someone like Okada into the company. This isn't the Vince McMahon era anymore. Vince is not there. Bruce has little say. Kevin Dunn is gone. This is a completely new era of World Wrestling Entertainment. If you are not at least somewhat intrigued about what Okada would look like, feel like, be presented like in WWE, I don't know if you really are a professional wrestling fan. Triple H has done incredibly well in the little time he's been given 100% control. Do I think the little teases on TV are WWE planting seeds of, hey man, this is what we're doing? I do. They've happened once too many times for us to sit here and say, it was just a coincidence. No, WWE is strategically telling you what they are doing before they do it. I didn't want to believe it then, but I do believe it now. Triple H with Okada is a very intriguing idea. I do think that he would treat Okada well. I do think he would treat Okada like a superstar, that he would give Okada the Brock Lesnar treatment. He'd come in, have big matches. You wouldn't see him throughout the year like you see a Cody Rhodes or a Seth Rollins. He'd be at the Big Five or the Big Four, and he would do what he needs to do. The dream matches that could be had with Okada in WWE are plentiful. AJ Styles, Randy Orton, Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, John Cena, CM Punk, Gunther. If you don't think he is thinking about that and the potential of that, you're a fool. If you don't think Triple H is thinking that, you're a fool. WWE just signed Charlotte Flair to one of the largest professional performer contracts in WWE history. They just gave Cody Rhodes a new extension. They just gave Bayley a new extension. They're going to be looking to sign Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch. WWE is not afraid to throw around money. And when we all thought that WWE was going to be hindered in throwing around money because of Endeavor and Ari Emanuel, they've been given the green light to continue business operations as they were doing. They're making more money now than ever before. They're hotter than they are now ever before. And if you don't think they're going to be throwing money at Okada, now that he's officially free, it is a huge possibility that he does land in WWE. Imagine Okada at WrestleMania. It's unbelievable to even think about. But will Triple H allow Okada to be what he wants to be like he is now? Or is he going to handcuff Okada to the WWE brand and the WWE brand only? I don't know. See, that's the one holdup that prohibits WWE from being a major player. They're a player, but it prohibits them from being a major player to land these types of guys. If that was the case, they would have landed Will Ospreay. Will Ospreay is allowed to go to AEW and continue working New Japan and wherever he wants under the AEW contract that he signed for the next 3 years, and he got paid. If Okada goes to WWE, he will get paid. He will be treated like a megastar, but that's it. You work for us and us only. Or there were reports going around that Triple H, he wants to open doors and build relationships, take over. He wants to open doors and build relationships. You heard rumors of Triple H and WWE wanting to work with All Japan Pro Wrestling. There was a rumor that WWE wanted to work with Stardom. There was a rumor that WWE wants to work with New Japan Pro Wrestling. I don't know if that's even going to be feasible because of the partnership with New Japan Pro Wrestling and AEW. Tony Khan would never allow that to happen. Rocky Romero and New Japan would never allow that to happen. I don't know what their agreement is, but right now we are under the idea that it's not ending anytime soon. But if WWE lands Okada, it would be an interesting idea. It would be an unbelievable thing if it happened. If WWE landed Okada and allowed him to continue working New Japan Pro Wrestling, thus opening the door for WWE talent to work New Japan Pro Wrestling, and Okada is the catalyst to make that happen. I don't know if that is something that can happen. I don't know if that's something that Triple H is thinking about ahead before he sits down to talk negotiations with Okada. But it's an idea I want to plant in your head. Maybe that is going to happen and change the entire landscape of how WWE operates. I don't know. Again, there's a small part of me, a much bigger part than I care to admit to you guys, that wants to see him in WWE. I want to see it. But at the end of the day, I think he goes to AEW because I think Tony Khan is... When Tony Khan wants something, Tony Khan seems like the type of guy that is not going to stop until he gets it. Tony Khan will vastly overpay to grab Okada for the simple fact that he does not go to WWE. Tony Khan has it in his mind that if Okada goes to WWE, that his legacy and his career will be tarnished. Tony Khan is of an old school mind, of an old school mentality. He wants to keep Okada the same. He wants to preserve Okada as you see him now. Tony Khan feels that he cannot do that, Okada, if he goes to WWE. Under his umbrella, under AEW, he will be able to do that. He'll be able to dip his toes in both worlds, the United States and in New Japan, and not have to blink an eye. To Tony Khan, nothing will change from what Okada sees right now if he joins AEW. And the dream matches that could be had in AEW, I mean, I'm not going to sit here and name every fucking dream match that we could see with Okada in AEW. You know what they are. You know that they are plentiful, and you know that they exist. Simple. But what Tony Khan can offer Okada right now that Triple H cannot right now is working New Japan and AEW, working Japan and the United States at the same time. He will land in AEW, he will be paid, and he will be treated as all the Japan talent is in AEW. Special. So that's my opinion there. And it's crazy to even think about. I'll end with this. Okada's a free agent come February. We have no idea where Mercedes Moné is going to end up. Imagine Tony Khan lands Kazuchika Okada and Mercedes Moné in the same month, in the same season, this winter season. Winter is coming, right? Tony Khan said, fuck your winter. I'm grabbing Okada, I'm grabbing Mercedes, and we're going to have a fucking party this winter. Imagine that. We don't know where Mercedes is going to end up. It's a big question mark. It's an even bigger question mark than Okada. But imagine if he lands both of them. How would you guys feel AEW bounce back from losing CM Punk? It's a pretty big deal if you ask me. So let me know what you guys think about that one down below. Lots of great discussion here. Sound off in the comment section. Is Okada going to AEW or is he going to WWE? Or does he do his own thing for a little bit and then somewhere down the line this year make an ultimate decision on where he wants to call his new home? Let me know what you guys think down below. And Okada right now, once again, officially a free agent in the world of pro wrestling. Hit that subscribe button down below. Turn on the bell for notifications. Make sure you guys hit that thumbs up. Strive for 1,000 likes on today's video. Go check out all the other content on the channel. Plenty of it with more to come. And it's going to be a big week. It's Royal Rumble week. And I got you guys covered right here on OTS. And please make sure you guys follow me on social media on X at JD from NY206. That's X, Instagram, TikTok, and Cameo. Guys, I'll see you live tonight after SmackDown for the OTS SmackDown post show right here on Off the Script. I'll see you guys later.